Thanks for joining me for another episode of Dread Captures, the shadowy crossroads where unexplained creatures and the paranormal come into the light. Our trail cameras are your eyes in the deepest woods, capturing the elusive Bigfoot, mysterious cryptids, and spine-chilling specters that roam unseen. Here, every photo and video holds a story whispered in hushed tones among those who dare to believe. Subscribe and join our community of the curious and the brave, as we unveil the secrets that lurk just beyond the tree line. Game wardens were called out to a remote area after two hunters found what they thought were human remains inside what looked like a Bigfoot shelter. The hunters had previously set up a trail camera, cleverly hidden out of sight, which captured one of the wardens later on as he was making his way back to his vehicle. It was a dark wooded trail, and the camera, 3 minutes after the warden passed, was triggered again, this time by a massive creature following the same path. Thankfully, the warden didn't run into the creature. But when he saw the footage afterward, he realized how close he had been to danger. He said that these creatures usually only tail someone when they're hunting, suggesting he was incredibly fortunate to have escaped unharmed. The beast caught on video was notably huge, almost twice as wide as the warden. It's an extraordinary piece of footage that's hard to believe. Another incredible video here of a Bigfoot sending a message. Some people were surprised at the aggressive nature of this Bigfoot, but there are plenty of reasons he might be annoyed. There are several possible reasons why Bigfoot might be upset. Firstly, the destruction of forests for urban development disrupts Bigfoot's natural habitat. Secondly, the presence of hikers and explorers in the woods could bother Bigfoot, who is typically portrayed as a solitary creature. Thirdly, attempts to capture Bigfoot for scientific study or out of sheer curiosity could frighten and anger the creature. The noise pollution from vehicles and machinery, along with the disturbance caused by people trying to photograph Bigfoot, could be additional sources of irritation. Climate change poses another threat, altering the environmental conditions Bigfoot may depend on. These considerations highlight the broader impact of human activities on nature and all its inhabitants, whether they are mythical like Bigfoot or not. With all that being said, this video is unreal. Let me know what you guys think of this. A trail camera capable of capturing short video footage set up to gather data on wolverines in west central Alberta captures what appears to be a large dark figure assumed to be the elusive Bigfoot, hunting prey along the trail. As we watch, we can see some slight movement behind the tree on the left, And while this trail cam was set up to capture wolverines, it appears it has picked up a buck. You can see the camera picking his head up when he sticks it out from behind the tree. As we continue to watch, we see the dark figure move. I'm not sure how the deer or elk weren't spooked by this. I guess this is a real testament to how well they can camouflage themselves, whether it's their musky scent or their appearance or their massive size. It's incredible. Let's watch it again. Let's delve into a fascinating encounter from Warm Lake, Idaho. In late September 2019, two hunters ventured into the wild only to stumble upon a chilling scream echoing from a nearby ridge. Initially mistaking it for a deer in distress, they scanned the area. What they saw defied explanation. A figure, too large to be human, appeared to be manhandling a deer. One hunter, peering through binoculars, made a startling realization. It wasn't a man, but a Sasquatch, carrying a deer over its shoulder, possibly dragging another. In a frantic attempt to document this incredible sight, the other hunter captured an image with his phone. But this photo raises more questions than it answers. Could a Bigfoot really carry a deer? Or is it more likely to drag such a prize? And what about the debris often reported with these sightings? Could these creatures be collectors, maybe even salvagers? The location, Valley County, Idaho, with its vast wilderness and sparse human population, makes it a prime habitat for such elusive beings. Yet we're left to ponder. In the dense forests of Idaho, what mysteries lurk beyond our sight? Next, we explore a gripping tale from the dense forests of British Columbia. On a cold December day in 2012, a lone hiker and their faithful dog embarked on a journey along the Teapot Hill Trail near Cultus Lake. Little did they know, their hike would take an unexpected turn. As they walked the path, the peace was shattered by the dog's frantic barking. The hiker's gaze fell upon a colossal figure, standing about 50 yards away. Towering at 8 to 9 feet tall, covered in thick hair with a face resembling a monkey or ape, the creature was like nothing they'd ever seen. In a moment of sheer instinct, the hiker quickly snapped a photo with their iPhone 4 despite the distance and their trembling hands. Then, in a mix of fear and defiance, they threw a rock towards the mysterious figure and retreated quickly up the trail. This photo, while grainy and distant, adds to the growing collection of alleged Bigfoot sightings. But it begs the question, why are these images often so unclear? And what drives a creature so skilled at evasion to reveal itself? As we consider these mysteries, we must also consider the hiker's reaction. Faced with the unknown, the instinct to flee or confront is strong. In the vast wilderness of Cultus Lake, where nature reigns supreme, who can say what secrets lie hidden? This sighting, though shrouded in uncertainty, reminds us of the endless mysteries that our natural world holds. In the shadowy depths of British Columbia's forests, could the legendary Bigfoot be wandering just out of sight? A boy captured footage of a creature resembling a Sasquatch, taking 4 steps in the woods of northern Illinois, USA, on June 14, 2011. The video appears to show a figure with a sloped back and a pointed head, moving with a distinctive rise and fall in its step. The alleged Sasquatch is also seen throwing rocks and breaking a tree branch. The footage, part of a series of 30 clips for a homemade Man vs. Wild themed video, shows the creature near the forest's edge. The boy who filmed it gauged the Bigfoot's height at around 6 to 7 feet. Near a swamp power lines and a dense area of trees. We stand by for further investigation. This video takes place between Rockford and Crystal Lake, Illinois. Let's check it out. Did you see the creature there? It emerges from behind a specific tree and seems to be as tall as the cross branch above it, which means it's likely about 6 feet tall and situated around 6 feet away from the tree. Before the creature appears, there are rocks being thrown. The kid filming comes around to talk to the camera when the rocks start being thrown. If you watch the footage again, you'll notice the rocks. I'll play it back in slow-mo so you can better see the rocks flying towards the kid. As for the Sasquatch, I've enhanced the footage to 50% speed. It appears to glance at the camera as it walks past the tree and then continues on its path. I'll zoom in further and reduce the speed to about 12.5%, following its movement closely. Since the camera focus is on the boy, it takes away from the creature and makes him blurry in the footage. Now, some of you might even be wondering why we've labeled this a Bigfoot. Well, pay attention to the distinctive gait it has. There's a rhythmic rise, a pause, and then a fall in each step visible in both the approaching and departing movements. This pattern is characteristic because of the way it needs to lift its foot. Additionally, the creature is moving downhill, which adds to the rise and fall motion. The Paul Freeman Bigfoot footage captured in 1994 near the Blue Mountains region of northeastern Oregon presents intriguing aspects in the field of cryptozoology. Freeman, who was an experienced former U.S. Forest Service patrolman and an ardent cryptozoologist, claimed to have discovered Bigfoot tracks showing dermal ridges, which caught the attention of some anthropologists. We don't have the entire clip, but the footage itself showed a hominid creature walking through a patch of woods, followed by another primate-like animal, which seemed to be holding a baby of the same species. This aspect of the footage, suggesting a family group of Bigfoots, adds an interesting dimension to the usual lone Bigfoot sightings. However, the authenticity of the footage has been a subject of debate. Some Bigfoot investigators consider the recording to be authentic, but due to its low resolution, it has been difficult for most experts to conclusively determine its veracity. The footage has often been compared to the famous Patterson-Gimlin film, another well-known piece of Bigfoot evidence.
Can't see much up through here. I hear the brush popping and stuff. Oh, there he goes. Jesus. Get up here where I can see him real quick. Get up here. Get a better picture.
This video has been posted before, but never with a real explanation of the breakdown, so here it is. Throughout the winter and spring of 2020, an independent wildlife biologist was engaged in a study of wolverines in Alberta, Canada, specifically in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. He installed a series of trail cameras capable of recording live video on game trails frequented by ungulates such as deer and elk. These trails are commonly used by the animals to move to and from feeding areas. To his astonishment, one of the remote cameras captured footage of what seemed to be a large Sasquatch concealed among spruce trees, possibly waiting for prey to pass by. This footage represents the second recorded sighting of what may be the same Sasquatch, with the previous occurrence documented months earlier in the spring of 2020. That earlier video showed the movement of agitated deer during the early morning, followed by the appearance of a dark, upright figure retreating from the area at dawn. Observers are encouraged to look closely, as the creature's facial features become slightly visible when it turns to back away.
¡Qué miedo que das! ¿Qué haces? ¡Ey! ¡Andate de mi casa! ¿Quién sos? ¡Andate de mi casa! ¡Eh! ¡Andate de mi casa! ¡Ayuda!
This unsettling footage was recorded by a TikTok user who was spending time alone in her residence. She caught a glimpse of something unusual from the periphery of her vision. A dark, still silhouette looming in the corridor, seemingly gazing in her direction. Several TikTok users have reported experiencing similar eerie occurrences, and there's a prevailing belief that this may be a spectral entity. What's your perspective? Could this be an otherworldly presence captured on video as some users speculate? Share your thoughts. You know, at first thought, I felt like she should be more worried about the person in her home. And I don't really sense that from her voice. As she continued talking, it was almost like she didn't want to raise her voice to the being, like she was afraid and didn't want it to turn its sights on her. I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
Get up.
This scary video isn't new, but it hasn't been shown around much lately, so I decided to share it. Nick Foster was out in the forest having a good time filming his dog Poppy when he accidentally caught something else on his camera. In the shadowy forest, there's a light-colored spooky shape walking among the trees. Did you notice it? Nick thinks it looks like a soldier wearing a helmet and coat, and he says he is sure they are alone except for his dog. People watching the video think Nick might be right, and it could be a soldier's ghost in the woods. What's your opinion? Is it really a ghost on the video? I'm eager to hear what you think. Welcome to another episode of Dread Captures. Join us on a journey through the wild as we explore strange encounters and real wildlife caught on trail cameras. From backyard portals to other dimensions, to scary mountain lion encounters and a great example of motherly love. This episode is sure to have something for everyone who loves the great outdoors. Let's get into the captures. In our first clip, two bald eagles with their distinctive white heads and dark brown bodies are locked in fierce combat high in the sky. Their powerful wings beat fiercely as they claw and bite at each other, their talons extended. The eagles spin and dive, locked in a fierce aerial battle for dominance. You can hear their screeches filling the air as the birds hit the ground. The battle is intense. You can see as one eagle circles around and takes one more dive bomb at the dejected eagle. He pushes him away and the victor soars off into the distance as the defeated eagle slinks away. Here we have a bald eagle perched on a tree branch overlooking a body of water. As it surveys the water below, searching for its next meal, suddenly it spreads its massive wings and gracefully glides downward towards the water's surface. As it approaches, it extends its talons and with lightning-fast precision snatches a fish from the water before soaring back up into the sky. The fish struggles in the eagle's grasp, but its fate is sealed as the powerful bird carries it away to enjoy its well-deserved meal. It's amazing the precision with which this bird pulled that fish from the water. With his head down, his talons clench the back of the fish, and he flies away with a look of just another day in the office. A great capture. This next trail cam capture is an impressive one. A calf and its mother have come upon a cleared lot, awaiting the building of a home. The owner set up a trail cam and caught some great footage. The mother and baby are interested in this pipe or pole that's sticking out of the ground and start to check it out. But then the mother elk hears something. She's staring intently at it. Look at her eyes. We quickly see what has her attention as a wolf enters the camera's view. No doubt he's after the calf. As he attempts to grab the calf, Mom steps in. You can even see her kicking with her back legs. Now, it took me a few times of watching this clip to notice, but as the wolf rushes the calf, the mother kicks its powerful back legs. Boom. Accidentally hits her calf right on the button, knocking him to the ground. The calf is clearly dazed, like it just took a punch. Mother continues to guard her young, probably wondering why in the heck he's having trouble getting to his feet. As they stumble towards the camera, another wolf emerges and goes in for the kill. An up-close battle ensues, and then all four of them are off the camera. I immediately think the worst, but then you see the wolves retreat off into the woods, and they wouldn't leave a kill. And the trail camera owner said not to worry. The mother and calf showed back up on camera a few days later, healthy and happy. Portals to different dimensions are a popular concept in science fiction and fantasy, and have many naysayers. These portals are often depicted as openings or gateways that connect our world to other realms or realities. They can take many forms, such as wormholes, black holes, or even magical doorways, which I believe you're going to see in this next clip. These portals are thought to allow for travel through space and time, or access to alternate versions of our world. Some theories suggest that these portals may exist in the real world, such as through quantum physics or higher dimensions. However, depending on who you talk to, there is currently no scientific evidence to support the existence of portals to other dimensions, and they are said to be purely fictional concepts. This submission may change your mind. This video clip came to Donovan Dredd from a viewer in Noonan, Georgia. The family lived in a seemingly normal house and lived a seemingly normal life. But one night, something strange happened. A portal appeared in their backyard. Not once, but twice. The family couldn't explain it, but they knew something was off about their home. Their son was so scared of the house that he refused to sleep in his room and instead slept downstairs on the couch. Even their niece, who was visiting, claimed to have seen a man with red eyes in the house. Things only got weirder from there. The family began to experience strange occurrences and hear strange noises. The mother of the family heard the sound of a baby crying, while the father heard what sounded like a ballroom with people talking and glasses clinking. They never saw anything, but they knew something was there. The family also experienced other strange events. Their father's glasses disappearing, only to reappear 2 years later in their backyard. No one could explain how it happened or who could have put them there. The family recorded some of the events and took pictures as proof of the strange happenings in their house. They shared these videos and pictures to us in hopes of finding answers to the mystery of their backyard portal. Here's some footage. Despite all this, the family stayed in the house for a few more years. But the tension between the parents grew as they fought more often than usual. In 2019, they decided to move out of the house, and since then, they haven't experienced any strange occurrences or heard any strange noises. The submitter seemed very credible. Let me know what you guys think of this. In northern Canada, the largest pack of wolves in this valley are on the hunt for their next meal. Pound for pound, this single wolf pack has some of the smartest, largest, and strongest wolves in Canada and the world. There are an impressive amount of members of this pack, and the pack has brought out all of its firepower in terms of numbers. And by doing so means the prey thereafter is formidable. Bison. As you can see from the aerial view, the wolves are on the bison's trail, and only a small sliver of trees separates the hunted from the hunters. As the wolves circle, trying to unsettle the herd, the bison stay close to one another. They know as long as they stay together, work as a unit, they will be safe. The wolves are patient, planning their attack, and then ultimately strike, and split some bison from the herd. In the chaos, one of the bison actually knocks over one of his comrades. As I watched, it got me thinking, I wonder if that was on purpose, strategic. If he knocks over a member of the herd, all of the attention would be off him and the rest. If he sacrificed one of the herd, the rest of the herd and himself would be safe. I looked up an expert and he said that, quote, "It is unlikely that a bison would intentionally knock down another bison when being chased by wolves in order to stop the attack on itself. Bison are herd animals and they tend to protect one another. They would likely be more focused on fleeing the predators together and trying to stay together as a group, rather than taking actions that could harm other members of the herd. Additionally, bison are not known for displaying intentional or planned behaviors when facing predation. They are more likely to react based on their instincts and drive to survive. Nonetheless, whatever the situation, this is an amazing camera capture." In October of 2020, Kyle Burgess was jogging on a trail near Slate Canyon in Utah. In the middle of his run, he came upon some young cougar cubs in the middle of the trail. He knew that this was not good. Where there are cubs, there is usually a mama. He starts filming with his cell phone. Mom doesn't show herself straight away, but as Kyle is backing up, he spots her, following him on the edge of the path. As the video shows, she finally appears from the tree line and shows herself. She runs towards Kyle, trying to scare him. The footage captured the cougar following him for over 6 minutes.
You're a scary kitty cat. Holy no, go away! Go away! No! No! You, dude! Holy...
Burgess used loud noises and gestures to try and scare the animal away, but it continued to follow him. Eventually, the cougar retreated back into the woods, and Burgess was able to safely get off the trail. The video of the encounter was widely shared on social media and received attention from huge news outlets. Thankfully, Kyle ended up being safe. This story highlights the importance of always being aware of one's surroundings when in nature, and the importance of knowing how to react when encountering wild animals. A very impressive camera capture. Rial Gendon, a young boy from Ontario, Canada, is extremely fortunate to be alive today. On what was supposed to be a fun, routine camping trip, the adventure ultimately ended in tragedy. Not long after arriving and setting up camp, Rial's parents wanted to go fishing to catch dinner. They tried to get their son to go, but he said he had a bad feeling and wanted to stay on the shore. Safely on shore, Rial watched while his parents fished from a nearby boat, often laughing and waving at their son. All of a sudden he heard a commotion and looked up to see the boat turning over. It capsized, and devastatingly, they drowned right in front of him. Not only traumatizing him, but also abandoning him in the wilderness. Not knowing what to do, devastated and terrified, he attempted to trek to the nearest town for assistance. But as the sun set, the young boy became scared, so he walked back to the campsite. He was coming to grips with the idea that he would have to spend the night outside in the cold. He didn't know what to do. As he lay on the freezing, hard ground, he was becoming delirious, hypothermia likely setting in. Sometime during the night, he was nudged awake, and he felt something warm and fuzzy snuggle up against him. He mistook it for a dog and promptly fell back to sleep. He was too cold to even look to see what it was. The next morning, searchers found the young boy, and Rial awoke to find 3 beavers curled up next to him. Temperatures had dropped below 0 over the course of the night, and experts say he would have died if it hadn't been for his new furry buddies keeping him warm. Animals truly are amazing. Feral hogs, also known as wild pigs, are a growing problem in many parts of the United States. They cause significant damage to crops and property, and can also carry diseases that can affect both livestock and humans. Control measures include hunting, trapping, and fencing, but populations continue to grow. And it appears they may be a problem all over the world. This scene from Turkey shows a wild hog rushing a man, only to be stopped by a protective barrier.
Sakın. Git. 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 Git öyle vuracağım.
Look how freaking big that thing is. During the video, you can hear the man chuckle and then hear the teeth of the hog chomping down. Wild. In our next clip, a British YouTuber is making a video to show off the speed of his new bike, and after a short explanation, he takes off away from the camera. But while his camera is waiting for him to speed by, it picks up something moving in the background. As you can see on your screen, a large figure is walking from the tree line. It appears Slender Man has made an appearance. Often depicted as a tall, thin, faceless man dressed in a black suit, often with elongated arms. He is said to stalk and abduct children, and is often associated with forested areas. Many people believe the Slender Man to be a real entity, but others claim he was created for the purposes of internet entertainment. While believers accept the fact that he may have been originally created by and for the internet, the sheer amount of believers now has made him come to life. I'll let you be the judge. However, Slender Man has been linked to real-life violence. In 2014, 2 12-year-old girls brutally murdered a friend of theirs, claiming that they did it to please Slender Man. Let me know in the comments if you've had any encounters with Slender Man. Owls usually have the advantage over snakes, and quite often turn them into a quick meal. Well, not in today's clip. Take a look at this owl closely. He comes to the watering hole looking for prey or to take a quick drink. Boom. A snake jumps out of nowhere and attacks this unsuspecting owl. As we watch again, the owl dips 1 foot into the water, and wow, the snake lunges out of hiding and takes a snap at the owl. Pretty crazy camera capture. Portuguese desert workers were shocked when they heard rumblings of a towering humanoid wandering around their remote job site the last few days and nights. So a few days later, when one of the guys spotted him, another went and got a camera. As they filmed the desert landscape and talked among themselves, they zoomed in on the hulking creature making its way across the prairie in the distance. The creature appeared to be twice the size of an average person, with forearms the length of a grown man's leg. Despite its hunched posture, it was estimated to be around 10 feet tall, almost as tall as the tree it disappeared behind. The workers continued to film, But when the creature did not reemerge, they wisely decided not to pursue it, which was probably smart. Given its massive arms and long legs, it was clear that the creature would have been able to defend itself pretty easily. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm leaning towards it being a hoax. There's just something about it that seems a little off. Welcome to another episode of Dread Captures, where we take you on a journey through the wilds of the woods and showcase footage of our favorite wild animals. In this episode, we'll take an in-depth look at a recent Bigfoot photo, see video of the rarely talked about Managishi, a boa constrictor on attack, and a viewer submission of a rare mountain lion hybrid. You won't believe your eyes when you see this one. But don't take our word for it. Sit back and let's get into the captures. No matter how tough and resilient animals are, every now and then, nature throws things at them that they just can't figure out by themselves. As we saw in an earlier video, sometimes animals just need a loving hand. In this clip from Michigan in 2019, Mark Johnson was out hunting with his dog when he spotted two bucks entangled with each other. Being an avid hunter and outdoorsman, Mark didn't think much of it. Of course, he thought it was cool, but he had seen bucks battling like this before. He was, however, impressed at how long they had been at it, how long they were fighting, and that's when he figured it out. They were stuck together. Mark knew he needed to help out, because what happens in these situations is that one, but most likely both deer die from exhaustion or starvation, and or coyotes move in for a kill. Knowing all that, Mark decided to call some of his buddies and told them what was going on. After the guys got a game plan, they grabbed some rope and a chainsaw used for cutting limbs and set out to free the bucks. They eventually found them wrestling near the tree line and tried to free them there, but the bucks became startled and pushed further into the woods. The deer eventually slid down an embankment and toppled into a little stream. With their necks twisted, this was a less than ideal situation. One or both bucks could have drowned. While the deer are laying there thrashing in the shallow water, the quick-thinking man took his shot and freed the bucks by slicing one of the antlers. Man, that guy was like a surgeon with that thing. In and out, real quick. Both deer quickly stand up and tromp through the water in the other direction. I'm sure they were grateful for the hand they were lent. Coyote and deer are mortal enemies. There's really no other way to explain it. Two creatures thrown into the animal kingdom just trying to survive. Unfortunately for one of them, they are the prey. Drone footage from a professional fishing charter captain specializing in fishing the flats of South Carolina captured this amazing standoff and battle between a single deer and a single coyote. As the drone zooms in from overhead, you can see the coyote dragging the deer out of the shallow water pool, but she's able to escape and gets back to the water. Now, I would traditionally say that the deer has an advantage here because they are much stronger swimmers than coyotes. However, the water is not deep enough for the deer to have any real advantage. The coyote is still able to use its strong legs, while the deer's hooves are likely sinking into the soft marsh mud. This goes on for a few more minutes before the coyote gets and keeps the advantage. The rest of the video gets pretty gnarly, but to be conscious of some viewers, I'll link the full video in the description below. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, is considered to be the most popular and well-known cryptid. Bigfoot is often described as a large, ape-like creature that is said to inhabit forests, mainly in the Pacific Northwest region of North America. He is said to be bipedal, standing at around 7 to 10 feet tall and weighing around 500 to 1,000 pounds. There have been many reported sightings of the creature. But this next trail cam capture is a pretty convincing one. A hunting guide named Craig Salk, who owns 80 acres of land in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, has put up trail cameras on various parts of his property. He just loves to track the game that is moving through the woods. Craig caught a figure in the background of one of his trail cameras, and it's either a human or a Bigfoot. Now, Craig says no one should be in these woods without his permission, but we all know how that goes. As the video plays, you can see the deer in the foreground is the one that triggered the camera to snap the pictures. But she's not what we're interested in. The mystery lies in the background. The trail cam took 3 pictures, but only one of them caught a bipedal figure in the background. Could this be a human? Sure. But what's he doing? Why isn't the deer afraid of him? Or these pictures could tell a story, and the story could be that there is a creature following this deer, and just happened to get caught in one of the pictures. Like I said, the camera snapped 3 pictures. The figure was caught in the second one. I feel like if that was a human, he or she would have likely been seen in all 3 photos. A Bigfoot, on the other hand, might be keen to stay out of sight. Craig shared the photos to social media out of curiosity, and the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization found the photo convincing enough to travel to Michigan. As the 4 members of the BFRO head to Craig's property, located right on the border of Wisconsin and Michigan, it is the exact type of dense forest a creature would inhabit. The foursome would spend a few nights and days on Craig's property. They were performing reenactments and searching for any reasonable explanation to verify or debunk this photo. Ultimately, the verdict was inconclusive. They could neither confirm nor deny what was in the photo. Having watched a decent amount of footage on this, the thing that strikes me is that Craig seems very level-headed and credible. He's not looking for notoriety or an award for finding Bigfoot. He's just a hunter who has pictures that he can't explain. So, what do you guys think? The photo definitely gets my wheels turning. Did Craig capture a photo of Bigfoot on his property? Or is he just the victim of a well-orchestrated hoax? I'll let you guys decide for yourselves. Honestly, I'm not really sure what to say about this one here. At first glance, it looks like a creature hugging a tree for sure. You can see the semblance of arms wrapped around the tree and a head buried in the arms. But the more I look, the less I'm sure this is an actual creature. The original uploader said that this was supposed to be a baby Sasquatch. You be the judge. In September of 2022, a small town was notified that there was a young deer running around with an arrow stuck in itself. The deer was first spotted on a farmer's trail cam, and the farmer couldn't believe his eyes. Sure enough, someone had shot and hit the deer with an arrow, but the deer never fell. The trail camera footage was taken days before, so the deer was long gone. As word spread, people were looking for the deer in hopes of helping out. One day after work, a man pulled in his driveway. Surprisingly, he saw a young deer next to his house. He thought, well, this is strange, but then quickly noticed the arrow protruding from his side. The man was unaware that this deer had been the topic of the town conversation, but he sprung into action. And the deer, seemingly unfazed, was pretty lackadaisical about the whole situation. And luckily, the gentleman knew the arrow needed to be removed to help prevent infection or further complications. The man calmly approached the deer, covering its eyes to keep it calm. I think deep down the deer must have known that the man was there to help, because he remained calm. The man was able to pull the arrow out relatively easily, but for precaution took him to a wildlife clinic where he could undergo further examination. The wildlife veterinarian said the arrow missed major organs and miraculously settled into a pretty benign place on the deer. He would be sore, but he was ultimately released back into the wild. Thank goodness for that Good Samaritan. In terms of physical strength, praying mantises are not particularly strong compared to other animals. But their strength is pretty impressive relative to their size and their hunting behavior. They are able to use their speed and agility to quickly grab and hold on to their prey, which is one of the things that makes them effective hunters. They are ambush predators. They wait and blend in with their surroundings to surprise their prey. And in this next clip, you're going to see that hunting in action. As you can see, the mantis is perched on the hummingbird feeder. The bird approaches and snatch. Unreal. Look at the mantis grab onto the beak of the bird and just not let it go. There's the relative strength we were talking about. The hummingbird tries to fly away, but the mantis just pulls him in. Mantises have a unique physical structure that enables the powerful muscles in their thorax and head to strike quickly and hold their prey. Safe to say we saw all of that in action. Just unreal camera footage. I didn't even know a mantis could handle a bird like that. Let me know in the comments if you've ever seen anything like this. I'll stop it here, but I'll link the full video in the description and it's worth the watch. I feel like coyotes are kind of like that annoying, mischievous second cousin that just can't do right. At least that's always how it seems when you compare the coyote and the wolf. The wolf is bigger and badder and more feared, and the coyote is just meh. Anyhow, this particular coyote is here to show everyone that he can do impressive things as well. As the video starts, you can see the coyote is interested in the tree, and if you look a little closer, you can see there's a dog bone tied or somehow attached to this tree, and he wants it. What he does next is very impressive. He scales right up that tree, keeping his eye on the prize. Now, I have seen videos of similar things, but I've never seen a wild coyote caught on a trail cam doing it. Now, I will say I have never once seen this. A coyote in a tree. I can't imagine walking out to work one morning and seeing this. A coyote eating berries out of my tree. I mean, what is going on here? Has anyone seen anything like this? I have so many questions. Why is he up there? How did he get up there? The lady filming sounds very calm about this, almost like it occurs daily. She even says, quote, "There's our coyote eating berries out of our tree." This situation does remind me that I have heard about fruit farmers removing old rotten fruit from or around trees because of what it might attract. But honestly, when I think of that, this isn't what comes to mind. Let me know in the comments if you have seen anything like this. This is pretty amazing. This next clip is just incredible. But first of all, before we watch this next outdoor camera capture, the parrots in this video, shot in Brazil, are wild. They are not pets. So just remember that. Anyhow, as the camera rolls, you can see one parrot just hanging out near this water source, and pretty quickly another arrives. But he doesn't stay for very long. Wow. A boa constrictor hidden in the water bowl snatched him right up. As we watch it again, knowing what we know, you can tell the first bird is a little apprehensive. He takes a little nip of water, but then pulls back. I wonder if he senses something is in that water. I suspect the snake was just lying in wait for something to breach the water's surface. And when that second bird lands, you can see his tail just dip into the water ever so slightly. That's all the snake needed. Just an incredible wildlife event to capture on camera. Our next clip is a viewer submission from Ricky M. Ricky lives in the panhandle of Florida in a town named Bristol, bordering the Apalachicola National Forest, he says. Ricky likes to hunt anything he can find. His words, not mine. In his area, he has a lot of wildlife. Deer, hogs, bears, panthers, gators, and even more. One evening, he and a buddy were checking Ricky's trail cameras. They were looking for a big gator that was suspected of taking a neighbor's dog, and Ricky knew just the camera to check. As the guys sifted through the footage, seeing the usual suspects, to his surprise, one of the cameras had captured an image of a strange creature. It was unlike any animal he had ever seen before. It had the body of a panther with the distinctive stripe pattern of a tiger, but also looked like it had the mane of an African lion. Ricky and his buddy were shocked. They knew what they were looking at wasn't native to that area. They had lived there their whole lives. He showed the pictures to the local wildlife officials, but they were just as puzzled as he was. They had never seen anything like it before. The picture created quite a firestorm locally, but still no one has been able to identify it. The creature has been dubbed the Tigon, a crossbreed between a tiger and a lion. I guess using liger was too mainstream. Anyhow, everyone and their brothers were buying trail cameras to try and catch another glimpse of the Tigon, but he has never been seen again. The mystery of how such a creature came to exist and why it was in the remote woods of Florida remains unsolved. It's all pretty crazy. Now, I'm sure most know it's impossible for two species of big cats to mate naturally, but it is possible for them to be crossbred in captivity through artificial insemination. I don't know. My personal thoughts are, if this happened anywhere outside the state of Florida, I'd be a little skeptical. But Florida is known for being a little wild in some places, especially with all of the exotic animals that are imported into that state, and then ultimately released when their owners can no longer provide for them. Maybe this is one of those. Nevertheless, I'm grateful for the submission, and let me know if you've seen anything like this creature before, or have any knowledge of big cats and crossbreeding. Our next few clips are a compilation from an awesome channel that gives us a really good glimpse inside nature. Now, I've seen bears using trees as back scratchers in the past, but this here is a great angle, and it really gives some perspective. Look at him. He's barely pushing against that tree, and it looks like if he gave it any force, it could uproot at any minute. I mean, I get it. There really is nothing better than a good, much-needed back scratch. This next clip in the compilation shows some beautiful foxes. And man, let me tell you, they do not look like this in the part of the United States that I'm from. These guys are a cool-looking silver and black with reddish underbellies. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think these are gray foxes. Red foxes are most common around me. And as you can see, they're having a little fun on this rock bed. I'd like to know the backstory of this clip here. The deer is stopped, the coyote runs by, and then the deer chases. Are they buddies, or... The deer did look kinda annoyed when he passed the camera. Like I said, this channel has some beautiful trail camera footage. Check this elk herd hitting the water. It's phenomenal. Look at that backdrop. At first I thought they sensed a predator, and maybe they do. But this trail camera footage stays wholesome. Just a look into the beautiful wilderness. This next clip shows a nighttime battle of two bucks, most likely in rut. You see a buck tumble down a small embankment, then smash. Another buck antler butts him off the top. What a great capture.